In a bustling Atlanta cafe, a cleaner's secret gift catches the ear of a powerful CEO. Will her talent rewrite her future, or will the world keep her invisible? Atlanta, Georgia, hummed under the golden haze of a September afternoon in 2025. The Bean and Bloom Cafe, nestled in Midtown's heart, thrummed with life. Laptops clacked, espresso machines hissed, and laughter spilled from sunlit tables. Amid the chatter, Denise Atwater, 38, moved like a quiet current, her navy apron tied tight, her shoulder-length braids swaying as she wiped down tables. Her deep brown eyes, framed by faint laugh lines, stayed low, her caramel skin catching the light as she cleared empty mugs. To the regulars, she was just the cleaner, a polite shadow who kept the place spotless. Jonathan Kellerman, CEO of Horizon Imports, sat by the window, his charcoal suit crisp, his hazel eyes scanning emails on his phone. At 45, his salt and pepper hair was neatly trimmed, his presence commanding yet weary from back-to-back meetings. He'd stopped for a quick coffee, his mind tangled in a stalled deal with a Shanghai supplier. Then, a sound pierced the cafes. Then a voice clear and soulful, weaving through Arabic, then gliding into Spanish, warm as a summer breeze. Kellerman looked up, his coffee forgotten. The voice wasn't from a performer or a radio, but from Denise standing by the counter, helping a lost tourist in a red scarf. Her words flowed effortlessly, guiding the woman to a nearby gallery in flawless Arabic, then switching to Spanish to answer a barista's question about a delivery. A French couple nearby asked for directions, and Denise's French was as natural as her smile, pointing them toward Piedmont Park with a gentle nod. Kellerman's brow furrowed, not with doubt, but wonder. He'd overseen global trade for decades, navigating languages and cultures, yet this woman, wiping tables in a cafe, spoke with a fluency that rivaled his best negotiators. He'd seen her before, early mornings sweeping the patio, always quiet, never lingering. He didn't know her name, but now he couldn't look away. Denise returned to her work, her apron pocket jingling with tips, unaware of the eyes on her. Kellerman stood, smoothing his tie, and approached. "Excuse me," he said, voice steady but curious. Denise turned, her expression calm, though her fingers tightened on her rag. "Yes, sir?" That was Arabic, wasn't it? And Spanish? French? She nodded, cautious. "Yes, sir. Also Italian, Portuguese, Mandarin, Hindi, and some Swahili." He blinked, a rare pause for a man used to quick decisions. 8 languages? "Yes, sir," she said, her tone plain, no trace of pride. "What's your name?" "Denise Atwater." Kellerman's gaze softened. "Miss Atwater, do you have a moment to talk? Maybe over a coffee?" Her eyes flickered with hesitation, a reflex from years of being unseen. "I'm working, sir." "I'll square it with your manager," he said, nodding toward the counter. Denise glanced at the barista, who shrugged, curious. "All right," she said, untying her apron. They sat by the window, the cafe's buzz fading as Kellerman leaned forward. "I run a company that trades across continents. I've hired translators, built teams, but I've never heard someone switch languages like you. How'd you learn?" Denise's fingers traced the mug's rim. "Long story, sir." He smiled faintly. "I've got time." She exhaled, her voice low. "Grew up in Savannah, single mom. Loved languages, taught myself with library books and radio. Got a scholarship to Spelman, but life got in the way." Her eyes drifted to the street where rain began to speckle the pavement. Kellerman nodded, sensing a story too heavy for a cafe chat. "I'd like to hear more, Denise. Can we meet tomorrow, my office downtown?" She studied him, wary but intrigued. "What's this about?" "An opportunity," he said, his voice earnest. "One I think you've earned." She nodded, slowly, standing. "Tomorrow, then." As Denise returned to her tables, rain tapping the windows, Kellerman watched her, his mind racing. What secrets did this woman carry, and how would they change everything? The Atlanta skyline shimmered beyond the glass walls of Horizon Imports' 20th floor office, a mosaic of steel and sunset hues, reflecting the pulse of 2025. Inside Jonathan Kellerman's suite, the air carried a quiet opulence, mahogany bookshelves, lined with trade journals, a sleek coffee machine humming, and a framed photo of his teenage son at a science fair, grinning with a ribbon. Kellerman, 45, stood by the window, his charcoal suit slightly rumpled, hazel eyes tracing the city's glow. His salt and pepper hair caught the fading light as he turned to Denise Atwater, who sat across his desk, her navy apron folded in her lap. Denise, 38, perched on the edge of a leather chair, her caramel skin warm under the office's soft lamps, her shoulder-length braids tucked behind one ear. Her deep brown eyes, sharp yet guarded, scanned the room. A world map dotted with pins, a jade paperweight, a stack of contracts in Mandarin. She'd never been in a place like this where decisions shaped fortunes. Her hands, calloused from years of scrubbing counters, clasped tightly, betraying a flicker of unease. Yesterday's cafe chat had been brief, but this felt different, heavier, like a door creaking open. Kellerman sat, his voice low, earnest. "Thanks for coming, Denise. I couldn't stop thinking about you. 8 languages spoken like they're your first. That's not just talent, it's something else. I need to know your story." Denise's lips parted, then closed. She glanced at the window, where rain clouds gathered, smudging the horizon. "It's not a short one, Mr. Kellerman," she said, her Georgia drawl soft but steady. "I've got time," he replied, leaning back, his gaze unwavering. Denise exhaled, her shoulders easing a fraction. "All right then. I grew up in Savannah, raised by my mama, a seamstress. No dad around, just us two in a 1-bedroom off Bay Street. Money was tight, but mama made sure I had books. I'd sit by the radio, mimicking foreign stations, French pop, Hindi news, anything I could catch. By 12, I was teaching myself Spanish from a library cassette." Kellerman's brow lifted, but he stayed silent, letting her words fill the space. Denise's eyes softened, lost in memory. "I loved how languages opened doors, like I could be anyone, go anywhere. Got a scholarship to Spelman, majoring in linguistics. Dreamed of being a diplomat traveling the world." Her voice faltered, a shadow crossing her face. "Then Mama got breast cancer my sophomore year. I dropped out to care for her. She passed when I was 20. The room grew still, the hum of the city muffled by glass. Kellerman's fingers tapped his desk, a faint gesture of empathy. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. Denise nodded, her gaze dropping to her hands. "After that, I was on my own. Got pregnant at 22, no partner to speak of. My daughter Aisha became my world. Worked double shifts, diner waitress, gas station clerk, anything to keep us afloat. Landed the cafe job 5 years ago. It's steady, lets me see Aisha off to college now." Kellerman leaned forward. "But the languages, you kept learning?" Denise's lips curved, a spark igniting. "Couldn't stop. I'd borrow textbooks, watch foreign films on my phone, practice with customers. It's my escape, my way of feeling alive. Most folks at the cafe don't notice. They see the apron, not me." The word not landed like a stone, echoing the weight of years unseen. Kellerman's jaw tightened, not with pity, but recognition. He'd climbed from a mechanic's son in Macon to this office, overlooked until he proved himself. "I noticed," he said, voice firm. "And I'm not the only one who should. You're fluent in 8 languages, Denise. My company's bleeding money on bad translations, misread cultures. We need someone like you." Denise's eyes widened, her breath catching. "Someone like me?" she echoed, skepticism threading her tone. "I mop floors, Mr. Kellerman. I don't know your world." He leaned closer, undeterred. "You know more than you think. Yesterday you helped 3 people in 3 languages without breaking a sweat. That's not just skill, it's instinct. Heart." She shook her head, braids swaying. "I'm nobody special, just doing what I can." Kellerman smiled, a rare warmth breaking through. "That's where you're wrong. You're extraordinary, and I want to give you a chance to prove it." He slid a business card across the desk, his name embossed in gold. "Think about it. I'd like you to join us for a meeting tomorrow. Our Dubai team's in town, and our translator's out sick. Can you handle Arabic?" Denise stared at the card, her fingers hovering. I can, she said slowly. But why me? You don't know if I'll mess it up. Kellerman stood, his silhouette sharp against the skyline. I've built a career on trusting my gut. It's telling me you're the real deal. Will you try? She met his gaze, her heart pounding. Years of wiping tables, of being invisible, pressed against this moment. I'll be there, she said, voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. As she left, clutching the card, rain began to fall outside, streaking the windows like tears. Kellerman watched her go, a plan forming in his mind. But what would happen when Denise stepped into a world that wasn't ready for her? The morning sun spilled across Atlanta's skyline, painting Horizon Import's conference room in hues of gold and amber. On the 18th floor, a sleek glass table reflected the faces of 6 Dubai executives, their silk ties and tailored suits, a stark contrast to the nervous energy in the air. Papers lay scattered, contracts, proposals, timelines, all stalled by a translator's absence. Jonathan Kellerman, 45, stood at the room's head, his charcoal suit crisp, hazel eyes scanning the group. His salt and pepper hair gleamed under the lights, but a faint crease in his brow betrayed the stakes. This deal could make or break their Middle East expansion. Denise Atwater, 38, hesitated at the door, her navy café apron swapped for a borrowed blazer from the office assistant, its navy fabric slightly loose on her frame. Her caramel skin glowed under the fluorescent lights, her shoulder-length braids pulled into a neat bun, deep brown eyes flickering with doubt. She clutched a notepad, her calloused hands unsteady. Yesterday's promise to Kellerman felt reckless. Now, stepping into a corporate world where she'd never belonged, armed only with her languages and grit. Kellerman caught her eye, nodding subtly. "Gentlemen, this is Denise Atwater," he said, voice steady. "She'll be assisting us today." The executives glanced up, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. A man in a white thobe, his beard neatly trimmed, raised a brow. "She speaks Arabic?" he asked, his tone polite but probing. Denise stepped forward, her voice clear. "Yes, sir. I do." The room shifted as she began, her Arabic flowing like a river, precise, warm, weaving through technical terms with ease. She translated Kellerman's pitch, clarified contract clauses, and answered questions about tariffs with a confidence that silenced doubts. When the lead executive, Mr. Al-Mansouri, shared a proverb about trust, Denise responded with one of her own, her faint smile sparking a chuckle across the table. Kellerman watched, his tension easing, a spark of pride in his gaze. The meeting stretched an hour, the air growing lighter with each exchange. Al-Mansouri leaned forward, speaking directly to Denise. "Your Arabic is better than our last translator in London," he said, eyes crinkling. "Where did you study?" Denise paused, her smile tightening. "Mostly on my own, sir. Books, radio, people." The executives exchanged glances, impressed but puzzled. Kellerman interjected, "Denise is a rare find. We're lucky to have her." As the meeting wrapped, Al-Mansouri shook her hand, his grip firm. "You've made this easier than I expected." "Shukran." Denise nodded, her heart swelling. "My pleasure." The executives filed out, their voices animated, the deal inching closer to a signature. Kellerman lingered, turning to Denise. "You were phenomenal," he said, his voice low. "Better than I hoped." Denise exhaled, her notepad damp from her grip. "I was terrified," she admitted, a nervous laugh escaping. "Didn't feel like it," Kellerman replied, smiling. "You belong here." She looked away, the weight of his words settling like a warm shawl. But as they left the room, the hallway buzzed with whispers. 2 account managers, their blazers sharp, stood by the coffee machine, their voices low but sharp. "She's the cafe cleaner, right?" one muttered, stirring sugar into his cup. "Now she's in boardrooms? I've got an MBA and I'm still waiting for a promotion." The other shrugged. "Kellerman's got a soft spot, I guess. Diversity quota or something." Their words drifted, stinging like salt in a cut. Denise, passing by with her notepad, caught the tail end. her steps slowing. She kept her face steady, but her fingers tightened around the pen. Back at her borrowed desk in a corner office, Denise sat, the city's hum muffled by glass. The blazer felt foreign, its sleeves too long, but the view, towers piercing the clouds, felt like a dream. She opened her notepad, jotting phrases from the meeting, her Arabic script neat. A knock interrupted her. Sarah, the office assistant who'd lent the blazer, poked her head in, her blonde curls bouncing. "You killed it in there," she said, grinning. "People are talking." Denise managed to smile. "Good talk or bad?" Sarah hesitated, then shrugged. "Both. Some folks are just surprised." Denise nodded, her gaze drifting to the skyline. "Not new to me." Sarah lingered, sensing the weight. "Don't let him get to you, you're the real deal." She left, her heels clicking down the hall, leaving Denise with her thoughts. Kellerman appeared at the door, his tie loosened. "Got a minute?" She nodded, bracing herself. "I've got another meeting tomorrow. Soul Team, Mandarin." "You in?" Denise's eyes widened. "You're serious?" He chuckled. "Dead serious. And I'm thinking bigger, a role for you, permanent if you want it." Her breath caught, the possibility dazzling yet daunting. As he left, Denise stared at the notepad, her heart racing. The whispers in the hall, the borrowed blazer, the skyline, they all pressed against her. Could she claim this world, or would it push her back to the shadows? The Atlanta skyline glowed under a midday sun, its glass towers casting jagged shadows across Horizon Import's 18th floor office. Denise Atwater, 38, stood in a small, sunlit cubicle, her temporary workspace, her caramel skin catching the light, her shoulder-length braids swept into a low ponytail. She wore a navy blazer, still borrowed, over a cream blouse bought from a thrift shop, the fabric soft but unfamiliar. Her deep brown eyes scanned a laptop screen, fingers hesitating over keys. Yesterday's triumph with the Dubai team lingered, but today felt heavier, like stepping onto a tightrope without a net. Jonathan Kellerman, 45, knocked lightly on the cubicle's frame, his charcoal suit sharp, hazel eyes warm but focused. His salt and pepper hair was slightly tousled, a sign of back-to-back meetings. "Ready for round 2?" he asked, holding a folder labeled Soul Proposal. Denise glanced up, her smile tight. "Mandarin, right? I'm ready, Mr. Kellerman." He nodded, handing her the folder. "It's a big one. Our soul partners are tough, but I trust you." Denise followed him to the conference room, her borrowed heels clicking softly. Inside, 4 Korean executives sat, their faces stern, laptops open. Kellerman introduced her, his voice steady. "Denise Atwater, our linguistics specialist." The lead executive, Ms. Park, raised an eyebrow, her silk scarf catching the light. "You handle Mandarin?" she asked, her English clipped. Denise met her gaze, her voice calm. "Fluently, ma'am." She began translating, her Mandarin crisp, weaving through trade terms and cultural nuances with a dancer's grace. When Ms. Park questioned a shipment clause, Denise clarified in seconds, citing regulations she'd studied the night before. The room softened, nods replacing frowns. Ms. Park smiled faintly, offering a compliment in Mandarin. "You speak like you were born in Beijing." Denise returned a nod, her heart racing but steady. The meeting ended with handshakes, the deal inching forward. Kellerman clapped her shoulder as they left. "You're a natural, Denise. I'm offering you a trial role. Cultural coordinator starting next week, full-time, with a desk, a title." Her eyes widened, breath catching. "A title? Me?" He chuckled. "You've earned it. Say yes." She swallowed, voice soft. "Yes." But the hallway outside buzzed with a different energy. As Denise returned to her cubicle, 2 sales reps lingered by the water cooler, their voices low. "She's the Café lady, isn't she?" one said, adjusting his tie. "Now she's coordinating deals? I've been here 6 years, no promotion." The other, a woman with sharp eyeliner, smirked. "Kellerman's playing savior. Bet she's gone in a month." Denise overheard, her steps faltering, but she kept her chin high, slipping into her cubicle. At her desk, she found a sticky note from Sarah, The assistant. You're killing it. Ignore the haters. Denise managed a faint smile, tucking the note away. But the whispers gnawed, echoing years of being unseen, customers ignoring her at the cafe, managers overlooking her for shifts. She opened the soul folder, forcing focus, her pen scratching notes in Hindi for practice. Mid-afternoon, Kellerman called her to his office. The skyline gleamed behind him, clouds parting. I heard the chatter, he said, leaning against his desk. People talk when things change. You okay? Denise crossed her arms, her blazer creasing. I've heard worse, just why is it so hard for them to believe I can do this? Kellerman sighed, his gaze distant. Change scares people. I got the same looks when I started. Small town, kid in a big office, but you? You're proving them wrong every time you speak. He paused, handing her a key card. This is for your new office, 12th floor. Trial starts Monday, you in? Denise stared at the card, its weight heavier than gold. I'm in, she said, voice firm. As she left, a young intern, Jamal, approached in the hall, his backpack slung low. Miss Atwater, I heard you speak Mandarin. That's incredible. I'm learning Spanish, but it's hard. His shy smile reminded her of Aisha. Denise softened. Keep at it, Jamal. One word at a time. He grinned, walking off, a spark in his step. Back at her cubicle, Denise traced the keycard, her heart a tangle of hope and fear. The whispers, the new role, the skyline, they were all hers to claim. But would the doubters let her rise? Or was a storm brewing just out of sight? The Atlanta skyline shimmered under a late afternoon haze, its towers glowing like embers against a bruised sky. On the 12th floor of Horizon Imports, Denise Atwater, 38, sat at her new desk, a modest space with a potted fern and a view of the city's pulse. Her caramel skin caught the soft light, her shoulder-length braids swept into a loose bun, her deep brown eyes scanning a stack of contracts from Mumbai. She wore a navy blazer, now her own, paired with a white blouse, its collar crisp but her hands still calloused, a quiet reminder of her cafe days. Denise's first week as cultural coordinator had been a whirlwind, translating for Seoul, revising Italian proposals, answering emails in Portuguese. Her cubicle buzzed with purpose, but the whispers hadn't stopped. Sales reps shot sidelong glances, their murmurs sharp as glass. She's just a cleaner with a lucky break. Denise ignored them, her pen flying across notes in Hindi, but the weight of their doubt pressed like a stone on her chest. Jonathan Kellerman, 45, knocked on her doorframe, his charcoal suit slightly wrinkled, hazel eyes bright with urgency. His salt and pepper hair gleamed under the office lights. Denise, got a minute? He asked, holding a tablet. She nodded, setting her pen down. We've got a problem, he said, stepping in. Our India deals hit a snag. Mistranslated. Contract, millions at risk. Can you fix it? Denise took the tablet, her fingers steady despite the stakes. I'll need an hour, she said, her voice calm. Kellerman smiled faintly. You've got 30 minutes. As he left, a shadow loomed at the door. Eleanor Craig, 60, a senior board member with steel-gray hair cropped short, her emerald blazer sharp as her gaze. Her pale skin contrasted with her crimson lipstick, her posture rigid, like a hawk sizing. Après, Miss Atwater? Eleanor said, her voice smooth but cold, stepping inside uninvited. I've been hearing about you. Denise stood, her blazer creasing. Ma'am? Eleanor's eyes narrowed, scanning the desk. Contracts, fern, a photo of Aisha at college graduation. No degree, no corporate experience, yet you're handling our global deals. Explain that. Denise met her gaze, her heart pounding but voice steady. I speak the languages, ma'am. I fixed 3 contracts this week, Italy, Seoul, now India. I study cultures, read between the lines. That's what I bring. Eleanor folded her arms. You think fluency makes you qualified? This isn't a language school. It's a billion-dollar business. Denise's jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. With respect, I've saved deals you'd have lost to bad translations. The Mumbai contract had errors in tax clauses. I caught them. I'm not here to charm, I'm here to deliver. Eleanor blinked, a flicker of surprise breaking her icy facade. Bold words for someone who was wiping tables 2 weeks ago. My hands still know how, Denise said, her tone even. But my mind knows more. Eleanor paused, her lips pursing. You're a risk, Atwater. I hope Kellerman knows what he's doing. She turned, her heels clicking out, leaving a chill in the air. Denise sank into her chair, exhaling, her fingers tracing Aisha's photo for strength. She dove into the Mumbai contract, her Hindi notes sprawling across the tablet. In 20 minutes, she'd rewritten 2 clauses, emailed the revisions to Kellerman, and called the Mumbai team. Her voice warm, bridging gaps across continents. The lead partner thanked her in Hindi, his tone relieved. You've saved us. Months. Denise hung up, her chest swelling, but the victory felt fragile. Sarah, the assistant, popped in, her blonde curls bouncing. Heard you took on Craig, she said, grinning. That's legendary. Denise chuckled, shaking her head. Just doing my job. Sarah leaned in, lowering her voice. People are noticing, Denise. Not just the haters, the interns, the analysts. You're changing things. Denise's eyes softened, the words a lifeline amid the storm. Kellerman returned, his tablet in hand. Mumbai's thrilled, he said, leaning against the door. You're proving me right, but Craig's not convinced. She's pushing for a board review of your role. Denise's stomach sank, but she nodded. Let her review. I'm not going anywhere. He smiled, a glint of respect in his eyes. That's the spirit. Next week we've got Milan. Italian's your call. As he left, Denise stared out at the skyline, the city's lights flickering like stars. Eleanor's words, Sarah's support, the Mumbai deal, they swirled in her mind. She was no longer invisible, but the spotlight burned. Could she withstand the heat, or would it consume her? The Atlanta skyline sparkled under a twilight veil, its lights weaving a tapestry of dreams across the city's heart. On the 12th floor of Horizon Imports, Denise Atwater, 38, stood by her office window, her caramel skin aglow in the soft dusk, her shoulder-length braids loose, framing her deep brown eyes. Her navy blazer hung neatly on a chair, her white blouse crisp, a nameplate on her desk gleaming. Denise Atwater, cultural coordinator. A photo of her daughter Aisha, beaming at college graduation, anchored her space, a reminder of why she fought. 3. Weeks into her role, Denise had become a quiet force. She'd salvaged deals with Milan, corrected Portuguese contracts, and charmed a Tokyo team with fluent Japanese. Her office buzzed with emails, her notepad filled with Swahili phrases for an upcoming Nairobi pitch, but the whispers hadn't faded entirely. Some sales reps still muttered, their envy sharp, though others softened, awed by her skill. Eleanor Craig's board review loomed, a shadow over her rise. Jonathan Kellerman, 45, knocked on her door, his charcoal suit relaxed, hazel eyes gleaming with purpose. His salt and pepper hair caught the lamplight as he leaned in. Denise, you're making waves, he said, a smile tugging his lips. Milan called you indispensable. Ready for something bigger? She turned, brow raised. Bigger than this? He nodded, handing her a proposal. Horizon Voices, a program to train overlooked workers, receptionists, drivers, cleaners, in languages and leadership. Denise's breath caught, her fingers tracing the pages. This was my idea, she said softly, recalling a late-night talk with Kellerman about hidden talent. It's yours to lead, he replied. We launch next month. You in? Her eyes shone, a mix of pride and fear. I'm in. But, as Kellerman left, Eleanor Craig appeared, her steel-gray hair sharp, emerald blazer glinting, her crimson lips set in a thin line. Atwater, Eleanor said, stepping inside, her voice like frost. The board split on you. Some see potential, others see a publicity stunt. I need proof you're not a fluke. Denise stood tall, her voice steady. Check the Milan deal, the Tokyo pitch, the Nairobi prep. I've earned my place. Eleanor's eyes narrowed, but a flicker of respect passed through. We'll see, she said, leaving as swiftly as she'd come. Denise threw herself into Horizon Voices, mentoring a custodian learning Spanish, a driver studying Mandarin. Bao, a shy Vietnamese intern, approached her one day, his backpack slung low. "Miss Atwater, you inspired me," he said, voice soft. "I'm practicing Italian now because of you." Denise smiled, her heart swelling. "You'll get there, Bao. Keep speaking your truth." The program launched with a quiet ceremony in the company's atrium, sunlight streaming through glass. Denise spoke, her voice clear, resonant. "I was a cleaner, invisible to most. But someone saw me, and I'm here to see others. Talent doesn't need a title. It needs a chance." The crowd, interns, executives, even Eleanor, stood, their applause echoing. Kellerman renamed the atrium Atwater Hall, a plaque gleaming by the door. No fanfare, just truth. Weeks later, Denise was invited to speak at a trade summit in Charlotte. She stood on a stage, her blazer tailored now, her braids elegant. "I was never just a cleaner," she told the crowd. "I was fluent, ready, waiting. Don't overlook the brilliance around you. Give it a voice." A young woman approached her after, eyes wet. "My dad's a janitor, speaks 3 languages. You made me proud of him." Denise touched her arm. "He's your hero. Tell him." Back at Horizon, a note appeared on Denise's desk. "You changed how I see myself, thank you. No name, just impact." She kept her cafe apron in a drawer, a relic of her journey. Her story spread, inspiring whispers of change. New hires asked for her advice. Managers scouted talent in break rooms. Eleanor, softened by results, nodded at her in the hall, a silent truce. Kellerman joined her for coffee one day, the skyline fading to stars. "You've remade this place," he said. "More Denises out there?" She smiled. "Plenty. Just look." Her legacy wasn't just a title, it was a door, wide open for others. But doors need guarding, and someone was watching, waiting to test her light. For every soul who's been unseen, know this. Your worth isn't in your job, but in your heart. Look for the talent hidden in plain sight, yours or someone else's, and give it wings. If Denise's story moved you, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more tales of triumph. Drop a comment. Who's the unsung hero in your life? Let's keep their stories alive.